flaky phyllo pastry stuffed with spinach and feta cheese. These twisters are a spin on the Greek spiral pie. One company is bringing these sumptuous spirals to the North American market.
In Greece, they would call it a pita. Stryfto means round, and pita means pie.
Traditionally, it's a very time-consuming process. Grandmothers would spend hours and hours and hours in the kitchen making this.
But at this factory in Ontario, Canada, they've sped up the process. And it begins with making the filling. The first ingredient in this pie is the spinach. 200 tons of spinach is used every year. Next, chopped onions are added, and salt and pepper for seasoning, along with dill. Now it's mixed while rapeseed oil is poured in. Next comes the cheese. Ricotta, a soft cheese, is added first, and then the traditional Greek cheese, feta. These pies require 140,000 kilograms of feta every year. One batch of filling weighs 220 kilograms, and each batch will make more than 500 twisters. The batch of filling is then emptied into a cart and taken to the production line. Here, it's sucked into a hopper by a drum pump. At this stage, it's time to make the phyllo pastry. First, salt and sugar are added to water in a large mixer. Next comes rapeseed oil, vegetable fat and yeast. The vegetable fat helps give the phyllo its flaky texture. The ingredients are first whisked by hand to get rid of any lumps. Lastly, flour is piped in. Approximately 750,000 kilograms of flour is used every year. It's all mixed into a giant lump of dough. Once thoroughly combined, it's transferred to a stainless steel bin. It rests here for 30 minutes until all the water has been absorbed into the dough. When it's ready, the dough is chopped into chunks and placed into a hopper.
We go through 4,500 kilos of dough and 3,500 kilos of filling every day.
The dough is extruded and flattened between two large rollers. Flour is added to prevent the dough from sticking to them. The dough is then gradually pressed and flattened into a long sheet of pastry. At this point, the dough is about 5 millimeters thick. A second conveyor then stretches the pastry even thinner. When it comes out, the dough is paper thin and almost translucent. Next, it passes under a circular blade that divides the large sheet of phyllo into two equal strips. The strips are then bathed in a special blend of oil and fat on both the bottom and the top. Now the cheesy spinach filling is added to the pastry. It's deposited in one long, steady line. A brush rolls the pastry around the filling. This creates an endless tube of stuffed phyllo. The long roll passes under a cutter and is chopped into lengths of 2.5 meters. This is how long each phyllo pie is before it's wound up. 20,000 meters of stuffed phyllo is produced every day. That's 4,800 kilometers a year. Next, a team of workers wind the lengths of phyllo into finished pies. This step is done carefully, by hand, to prevent the delicate pastry from tearing.
I've been rolling pita twisters for 6 years. It takes a light touch.
The end result is that the product is homemade. It looks homemade, it tastes homemade, it feels homemade. It is the closest thing you'll get to something that your grandmother will make at home.
Once they're wound up, the trays are fed into a nitrogen-cooled spiral freezer and left to chill at minus 90 degrees Celsius for 12 minutes. When the twisters emerge, they're frozen solid and ready to be packaged in a flow wrap machine. In a single day of production, 8,000 twisters are produced. The pies are then packed 5 to a box, and the boxes are placed on pallets, ready for delivery. These twisted pies are proving quite popular, especially with a certain demographic.
Grandmothers who made it by hand from scratch their entire lives tell us that they don't have to make it anymore.
Well, making them would send me round the twist.